Today we're going to talk about if guys will come back after dumping you. Basically what you can expect when you've been dumped by your ex, who is a guy, and how likely it is that they're going to come back to you. And if you stick around until the end of this video, not only am I going to answer that question, but we're going to talk about what conditions need to be present in order to create the perfect cocktail that would make them want to come back. But first things first. Do guys always come back after they break up with you? Well, the truth is that most guys will at one point consider coming back after dumping you, but that doesn't necessarily mean they will act on it. Deciding whether or not to come back to you depends on many different factors, like the reason for the breakup and if they can find someone that they think is better than you. This is oftentimes a swept under the rug type fact. Yes, most guys, after they break up with you, will at least at one point entertain the idea of coming back to you. Now, generally speaking, what you have done up until that point will factor into their decision. So, for example, a lot of our clients tend to have anxious type of attachment styles. This means they tend to act very anxiously after a breakup. They're the ones who blow up their ex's phone trying to get a response. They're the ones who stalk their exes on social media, show up at their ex's work, try to buy their ex a gift to try to quote unquote win them back. People who've engaged in these behaviors, by the time your ex thinks, I wonder what it would be like to get back together with her, well, they're going to be thinking about those recent behaviors, and it's not going to reflect very positively on their decision. Now, the opposite is also true. If you don't do any of those behaviors and you've kind of outgrown them and moved on from them, all of a sudden you look like a much more attractive candidate. But that does not necessarily mean that they're going to act on it. Thinking about it and acting on it are two completely separate things. Now, luckily for you, the rest of this video is going to be dedicated to understanding what factors need to be present in order for your ex to act on a want of getting you back. All right, so I've come up with 5 deciding factors that make men want to come back after they break up with you. So let's just start from the top. Factor number 1, they need to be miserable without you. So you're familiar with the grass is greener syndrome, I hope. But basically, oftentimes what we're finding happens in our success stories is usually when a guy breaks up with a girl, they're doing it because they think the grass is greener on the other side. But usually it's not. Because what happens is when they're in the middle of the relationship with this person, things begin to grow a little stagnant. Things become normalized, so to speak. Well, they start daydreaming about how much better it would be with this person or that person or that person. So they break up with you and try to pursue this person or that person or that person. The unfortunate thing, though, is even if they do begin dating that new person, eventually comparisons to how they felt when they were with you begin with this new person, and they feel like they made a gigantic mistake. Now, factored into that concept is the concept of regret. We're seeing regret happen a lot when we interview our success stories. We ask them, okay, well, tell us from start to finish how you got your ex back. And almost always you'll find the common theme throughout as being they internally felt like they outgrew their ex, but also their ex had a lot of regret about how the breakup went down or regret about how they treated their ex in the past relationship, which leads them to act on trying to rectify that. Hey there, real quick, I want to say that if you're new to this YouTube channel or you're trying to figure out what you should be doing to get your ex back and you're trying to learn if you even have a chance in your specific circumstance, probably the smartest thing for you to do is actually stop by our website, www.exboyfriendrecovery.com, or take our Ex Recovery Chances quiz that can be found at exboyfriendrecovery.com. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, taking that free quiz is super easy to do. All you have to simply do is look in the description link below this YouTube video and click on the link you see there. It will take you directly to the quiz where you can fill it out and get an easy answer on what you should be doing going forward and overall what your chances look like in your specific situation. All right, so let's get you back to the video. Factor number 2, they feel like you don't need them anymore. So one of the embedded facts that almost goes along with the territory of you breaking up with someone else is there's a certain amount of I'm better than you involved. We often talk about winning the breakup. You know, oftentimes the person who broke up with you wants to win the breakup. Usually that means they're doing better after the breakup than they were during the breakup, or they're doing better after the breakup than you are doing better after the breakup. All of this constitutes quote unquote winning. But there's also this incessant need that men have to want to feel wanted by you. Usually, like I said and already mentioned, most of our clients tend to have anxious type of attachment styles. So those anxious behaviors indicate to an ex that they still care deeply about a relationship. So when you're caring deeply about a relationship, it indicates to your ex, hey, they like me more than I like them. But if you're able to flip this fact on its head and make them feel like, wow, they don't need me anymore, all of a sudden they're brought back down to reality, and then they start to think, did I make a mistake? Factor number 3, they need to feel like they have competition. This is a funny one to me because while we did talk about the grass is greener syndrome with that first factor, it also comes into play here, but in the opposite way. Oftentimes, if your ex breaks up with you, they're doing so with the fact because they think they can do better than you. So maybe they do go out and explore better options, but the opposite can also be true. Maybe through breaking up with you, they realize, wait, my ex is not going to wait around for me forever. You have all these guys hitting on you. Maybe you go on dates with other guys like we recommend you to do in the Ex Recovery Program, and they realize you are now a hot commodity and they have competition from other men. And this lights a bit of a fire under them and makes them really feel like they may have made a mistake. And sometimes there's the simple fact of they want what they can't have. And what can't they have more than you moving on to someone else? Factor number 4, they need to feel like you empathize with them better than anyone else. People ask me all the time, what is the key to building attraction with your ex when you have a texting conversation with them or even a conversation in person with them? What can make these conversations so meaningful that they have feelings for you again? And the only word that I've ever been able to come up with that can kind of distinctly describe what you're going for here is empathy. Your ex needs to feel like you understand him better than anyone in the world, because when you have empathy for them, when you can understand their worldview and literally repeat the worldview back to them, your ex will look at you like you have some sort of secret superpower, like you can read their mind. In reality, you're just a really good detective. You can understand what your ex is thinking and why they acted the way that they acted. But more importantly, it builds trust, because your ex is going to want to trust you and open up to you about deeper feelings or deeper things if they feel like you understand them. So this also has to be present. And when you add in the fact that, hey, you're their ex and you understand them better than anyone else out there can, you become a much more attractive candidate for getting back. Factor number 5, they need constant reminders at what they are missing out on. All right, so if you are not on board with the social media train, get on board. It is a key component and a key strategy for successfully winning your ex back. Why? Because you can literally create a reminder almost every single day, if you so choose, to prove and show your ex what they're missing out on. And what they're missing out on are all of these opportunities that they could be with you when you're posting these amazing things that you're doing. Oftentimes you'll hear me talk about the Holy Trinity: health, wealth, relationships. And you're going to want to definitely use these on social media. So you'll post something health related, you'll post something wealth related, you'll post something relationships related. And relationships does not necessarily have to include a relationship with your ex. It can be friends, it could be family, whatever. Here's the key component. As long as you're doing something interesting in each one of these areas of your life, your ex can sit there and watch from afar and realize, I could have been with her during this thing, or I could have been with her during that thing. This obviously creates a little bit of jealousy, but it also makes them realize they may have made a mistake. Hey, thanks so much for getting to the end of this video. If you haven't already, make sure you take our Ex Recovery Chances quiz. Our free, simple 2-minute quiz designed to basically tell you what kind of chance you have of getting your ex back. All you have to do if you're interested in taking this quiz is simply look in the description link of this YouTube video and click the link you see there. Also, if you haven't liked, commented, or subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so. It really makes a gigantic difference. I'll see you next time.